The war began with lies whispered across the stars. Humanity had entered the Galactic Council only a decade earlier, still finding its footing among the countless species that claimed to be civilized. They offered treaties, promises of unity, and endless trade. But when the first shots were fired, humanity realized the truth. They had been invited only to serve as pawns. The Council's fleets struck first, under the guise of a joint military exercise. Human ships were targeted, colonies raided, and communication relays destroyed. The attack was swift, coordinated, and perfectly timed. The Council called it an accident. They called it unfortunate crossfire. Humanity called it what it was: deception in war. At first, Earth's navy was outmatched. The Council possessed millennia of experience and technology drawn from hundreds of species. But humans had something different, a hunger that burned in their bones, a fire that could not be engineered or copied. When the smoke cleared from the first ambush, humanity didn't bow. They rebuilt. They learned. And they remembered. For 2 long years, humanity remained silent. While diplomats pretended peace in the council chambers, fleets were being forged in the shipyards of Mars and Titan. Engineers stripped down alien wrecks, reverse-engineered their energy matrices, and rebuilt them better. Human warships grew stronger, faster, and crueler in design. The Council thought the Terrans were finished. They thought wrong. Then came the message, short, sharp, and cold. "We know what you did." It was broadcast across every channel. Every council capital received it. Every admiral heard it. And before anyone could respond, the stars near the border began to burn. The first to fall was the Valen Dominion. Their fleets were stationed near human space, confident that the treaty still bound Earth. They expected diplomats, not dreadnoughts. When the human fleet arrived, the Velen admiral laughed, thinking it was a bluff. The laughter ended the moment human railguns fired. The Valen capital ship shattered under kinetic rounds, moving at a fraction of light speed. Their shield harmonics couldn't adapt fast enough. Within hours, their orbital stations were gone, their cities burning. The humans didn't stop. They moved from system to system, methodical, efficient, unstoppable. They weren't fighting for conquest. They were collecting payment. Each human fleet carried a black and silver emblem, 2 hands breaking a chain. To them, it wasn't a symbol of rebellion. It was a promise that no deception would go unpunished again. The Council tried to respond. Fleets from the Oral Combine and the Civen Pact rushed to reinforce their allies. But the humans had learned too well. They didn't fight like the Council did. They didn't march into open battles with honor and ceremony. They struck from the shadows, hacked enemy comms, poisoned their supply chains, and shattered their morale before the first volley even fired. One council commander described it best in a desperate transmission before his fleet vanished. They fight like they've already lost everything, and that makes them impossible to stop. By the 3rd month of the campaign, the council realized they were no longer dealing with the naive species they had once mocked. Every engagement turned into a trap. The humans used debris fields as ambush zones, turned asteroids into railgun platforms, and deployed drones that mimicked wreckage until they activated and tore apart entire squadrons. In the Senate Hall of the Council Corps, panic spread. Debates turned into shouting matches. Accusations flew between ambassadors. The humans had united the galaxy before, through trade and diplomacy. Now they were uniting it again through fear. Earth didn't send another envoy. They sent only silence and ships. Fleet Admiral Grant stood aboard the Terran flagship Resolute, staring at the hollow map of the galaxy. His voice was calm, almost too calm as he gave the next order. "They deceived us in war, so we'll take everything they have." His officers nodded. They didn't question. They didn't hesitate. Every one of them had lost someone in that first betrayal. Now vengeance wasn't just justice, it was duty. The Resolute led the assault on the Council's industrial worlds. Planet after planet fell under the Terran advance. Shipyards that had once built the Council's grand fleets were stripped and repurposed. Factories retooled to build human war machines. Within weeks, the humans had captured more resources than they had in the previous decade. The Council tried to negotiate. They sent messages begging for peace. They spoke of misunderstanding, of accidental strikes, of rogue admirals. Humanity's response came in the form of a single transmission, played across the galactic network. A calm voice said, "We remember your lies. Now you'll remember ours." Then the transmission ended, and the next day 3 council worlds went dark. No signals, no survivors, just silence. Whispers spread across the stars. Some called them monsters. Others called them saviors. But everyone called them unstoppable. Yet beneath the fury there was method. Humanity didn't destroy every world. They seized those with value, extracted knowledge, and used it. They learned the Council's slipstream technology, improved it, and folded entire fleets across sectors in minutes. They hacked ancient archives and uncovered centuries of hidden corruption. Every secret they found became another weapon. The balance of power shifted faster than anyone could comprehend. The same council that once ruled through deceit now cowered behind fractured alliances. When the Terran fleet finally reached the council core, resistance collapsed. The defending ships refused to fight. Some surrendered, some fled, some simply shut down their engines and waited for the inevitable. The Resolute entered orbit over the shining capital world, its vast silhouette blocking the sun. Cities went dark as the shadow passed. The planet's defense grid activated for a moment before its AI shut itself down, recognizing the futility. Admiral Grant's voice echoed through the planet's skies. "You used lies as weapons. You killed billions with words wrapped in treaties. We learned from you. Now we return the lesson." The bombardment didn't come as fire. It came as control. Terran code infiltrated every network. Satellites turned their weapons inward. Drones descended, disabling power grids. Within hours, the Council's seat of power was no longer theirs. Humanity didn't just conquer, they absorbed. Across the stars, once mighty empires watched as their leaders were replaced, their fleets reflagged under the Terran banner. And still no one dared to fight back. When asked what humanity wanted, the answer was simple: everything they owe. Reconstruction began not in the name of peace, but in the name of dominance. Terran overseers brought order to chaos, rebuilding the very worlds that had betrayed them, not out of mercy but to make them serve the new order. Factories roared back to life, now producing ships stamped with the insignia of the United Terran Dominion. The former Council species served under new rules. Trade flowed again, but every shipment carried Terran oversight. Every world paid tribute. Every decision passed through Earth. The irony was not lost on anyone. The deceivers had built an empire on manipulation, and now they lived under the most direct rule the galaxy had ever seen. Humanity didn't need to deceive, they simply acted. Years passed. The wars ended. No fleet dared to rise again. The galaxy entered a strange era of stability, forged not by peace treaties but by the fear of awakening Earth's wrath again. Admiral Grant stood once more before the stars, older now, his eyes still sharp. He watched the endless expanse of space, filled with Terran patrol routes and stations glowing like constellations of steel. Behind him, younger officers whispered of expansion beyond the galaxy, of new frontiers, of humanity's destiny to rule not just through vengeance, but through power. He said nothing for a long time. Then quietly, almost to himself, he murmured, "They deceived us once. They'll never do it again." Across the galaxy, humanity's message remained etched into the ruins of their enemies, simple, direct, and eternal. Deception is a weapon. We mastered it. Then we replaced it with truth, the truth that no one deceives humanity and survives. And in the silence between the stars, that truth echoed louder than any weapon ever built.